I'm immediately ready to say Fait is a high tier character before I even look at her SIGs, okay? Stats, weapons, they speak for themselves. Look at this. 7-4-4-7, you know, there's nothing outstandingly bad about that. You're going to want to run defense stance 99% of the time, either defense or base. Defense is the safer pick, you know, all of these are kind of, they either make it too polarizing or they're really kind of pointless, like strength for example. So I recommend defense. Let's get some colors here. I really like these skins. So let's look at her SIGs, right? If she's already a high tier character without even that, then, like, I mean, let's just find out. Is she Mordex? Where, you know, her stats, SIGs, and weapons, they work so well together that it produces what is essentially like a top 3 character. A very, very, very high tier character. Or is it more like Val? Val's a typical character with fantastic stats, great set of weapons, but, you know, there's one thing weighing her down, and that's her signatures, you know. They're not bad, but they're not just incredible top 3 character in the game kind of deal, you know what I'm saying? So let's see if Fait has the chops. Let's start off with Orb down SIG, okay? Actually, let me pick a different. Lucian. Lucian deserves to get beat up. What do you guys think? Let's start with down SIG. This SIG is very good, okay? You can't react to that. You can't really punish that, okay? You can cover yourself super fast on whiff with Neutralite, okay? You can act immediately after the hitbox ends, pretty much, you know, not exactly frame perfect, but very, very fast, so it's difficult to punish. You need to punish this thing in active frame, which it does have a little bit of. As you can see, you know, you gotta draw the whole star first, but, you know, this ain't no starburst. That didn't make any sense. Has active input, so you can send up or you can send horizontal. Obviously, the further out you are from the stage, you know, the more horizontal you want to send it, and the closer in, the more vertical. Vertical is always the safer bet because, you know, every point on the stage is pretty much, unless you're on a platform, is like equidistant from the top. Whereas if you send horizontally from the center, it'll kill much later than from the edge. That just makes a lot of sense. Anyway, very good SIG. You can cover it very well. You know, you don't always have to neutralize, you can just get out of there. You can't react to it. It kills, does, you know, a decent amount of damage, like 25 damage if it's on a equal target, I'm pretty sure. Very good SIG right off the bat. Much better than Dusk down SIG, that's not even a question. So let's talk about side SIG then. I love this move. Look at the distance, look at the speed, do you see that? Tell me how you're gonna punish that. I'll tell you how you're gonna punish it. You're not gonna punish that because this is so unbelievably fast. Like, look how much distance it covers. You can GC to recover. It's like Rayman's axe side SIG, but better. I mean, this SIG is amazing. It's so good. And it's a utility SIG, right? Like, obviously it doesn't do a billion damage, and it doesn't have a billion force. But this kind of SIG doesn't need it, right? A SIG doesn't need to have everything, and especially since you already have this move to kill, and you have your end SIG, which is even better, by the way. Just a little spoiler for that one. Really fantastic SIG. The only, like, qualm I have with it, or thing I should point out to you guys, is the hitbox doesn't come out until the star comes out, okay? So if you notice, oh, that is not the right move. Fait rides on a star, and the hitbox isn't out until the star comes out. So it's not going to hit stacked. You gotta be a little bit, you know, even right there. This will hit. And the other thing is that the active input, this also has active input, I don't know if I mentioned that, is kind of useless. The Brain had a good tweet about it. I'll just show that on the screen. Okay, so let's talk about Orb and SIG, which I claimed was better than those two, which are already very good. I mean, do you see this? You know what this reminds me of? Mordex and SIG on Scythe. This is Mordex and SIG on Scythe, but on Orb. That's literally what this SIG is. It's so incredibly good. And it's not just good because it's, you know, it's got the speed, it's got the range, it's got the pizzazz, okay? Orb is a weapon that has trouble covering high angles, if that makes sense. So let's show you guys. Okay. If Lucian's at high percent, and I hit him with a downlight, and he dodges up, right? The only thing that'll hit is Nair. But at a certain point, he's too high, and I need to recover to hit him at that height, right? Like, Nair won't hit here, so I need to recover. But that takes time. You see the Lucian can easily, like, just evade that recovery. But with N-Sig, it covers that high angle so fast. So much faster than a jump recovery would, that you can just, like, punish up dodges, you can punish jump aways, to a level that Orb, on its own, cannot. And so what this Sig does is give Fate more options, and that's always something you want out of a Sig. Something to give you an option that you already can't cover. Which is why this Sig is so amazing. On top of everything else. I mean, it has knockout power. It has like look at this. Like you seen that? You seen that? You can punish dodges with it. It's very hard to punish because you jump up and you can evade before you land on the ground. This is like everything you want in a Sig. I guess everything you want in a Sig kit, I should say, because these three Orb Sigs working in tandem with each other. You got a utility Sig, you got a close range Sig, and you got a Mordex Sig. There's nothing else you could want. Definitely the set of a top tier character. I'm ready to say that right away. Like, these Sigs are what a top tier character has. I guess that's what I'll say, okay? I don't want to jump the gun, it's day one, but that's all I'm putting down. Okay, let's look at Scythe. So, down Sig is the teleporting one. I'll start with this because, frankly, even though it looks so cool, like honestly one of the coolest Sigs in the game, aesthetic-wise, it's kind of the most underwhelming for me, just in terms of the other two, because I think these two are really cool. But you know, it's kind of fast, but it does take a little time, if that makes sense. Like, it covers the distance fast, obviously, because it's a teleport, but it has some startup, which definitely knocks some like points off like whatever scoreboard you're looking at. But you know, it's cool, it's flashy, it has a bunch of active frames as you saw there. You know, definitely fitting for the character design. I'm a fan. You know, I said it was underwhelming, but don't get me wrong, I think this is one of the coolest Sigs in the game. So let's talk about Side Sig, okay? This thing is a projectile. So if you press it, you know, those three little stars. But if you hold it, you get a little beam there, a little star beam, okay? It has a bunch of recovery, so that's the thing that is definitely gonna knock it down. Like, compared to other projectile Sigs, like look at Sidra Cannon, okay? That thing has no recovery compared to this. Like, you're sitting there for a good little while, for a good like hot pocket buzzing time. I don't know what I'm saying. I think this Sig has a lot of potential, and I use that word like very sparingly, I should say, because by potential, I mean I think you can get some interesting setups with this. So let's take a look at like in dodging, right? What am I even, well, I lost my train of thought. Oh, okay. In dodging. So obviously you can punish an in dodge very well, but I wonder if there's a scenario, right, where I can do something like this, where I hold the signature, and no matter whether they in dodge or out dodge, it covers with the projectile. You know, that kind of thing you need to lab, you need some time with the character. So day one I'm not really ready to say, but it's an interesting move for sure. You know, the hitbox does linger even on this version, and you know, definitely could be good for edge like trapping, which Scythe is already very, very good at with downlight and neutral light and nair and everything like that. So this is a very interesting Sig to me. I'm not ready to say it's super amazing like the orb ones, but I think if you put in a lot of time, it could be interesting. That's what I'll say. Oh, one last little thing is that no matter how much you hold it, the damage doesn't change and the force doesn't change. So, you know, if you're fully charging this thing, it's not going to knock out any earlier than if you just did this. But what's interesting is the angle actually does change. You see that's a very downward angle compared to the projectile, which is more, I guess I'm wrong. Wait, what? Okay, that looks more upward. Yeah. Okay, moving on. This move is really good. let me just get that out of the way. This move is so good. This is like, oh my god. So basically, Scythe End Sig has a similar property to Side Sig where you can get a projectile, except the projectile is like a little tree kind of thing. You get a little tree view there. And 24 damage, obviously not bad. Comes out very fast, hits grounded, link rank hitboxes. I mean, amazing Sig overall. You can obviously do dodge punishes with this thing, like out of neutral light. You can kill setup. So let's do a little. Okay, he's gonna dodge right. I mean, that's already a kill setup right there. I mean, he was in orange, 130 health, so it's not gonna kill, but a little later, obviously it will. Very, very good Sig. You can't really react. No, you can't react to this at all. Covers a nice area. If you hold it, you can cover landing. Again, it hits grounded, unless you're like an idiot like me. Very impressed with her Scythe. There's also an interesting thing with this one. Again, thank you to the brain for finding this kind of thing. Don't follow and follow me. Yeah. I'm very impressed with her Scythe. I think that down Sig is a little lacking and side Sig needs some like lab work. But I mean, End Sig alone is so good. And if you're having trouble killing, just switch to this thing. You got a true combo that kills. You got a down Sig that kills. Okay. You got a neutral Sig that's just like a demon. You got a side Sig that's like really fun. I mean, this character is really good. Like, she seems to have everything that a character would want to have. Good standalone weapons, good stats, or at least stats that don't make her terrible. Like, Sigs. Like, this whole video was just like Sigs. Like, obviously she has Sigs. Maybe I'm overestimating her a little bit. Maybe I'm underestimating her a little bit. It's day 1 again, so it might be a little early to tell, but my first impression is that she's amazing. Like, I think she'd land top of high tier or top tier. Like, I don't think she can be any lower than the top of high tier, just based on like everything this character has. The shame, like the one shame, is that she is banned in the Winter Championships, which is the first major of the year, because she's so new. You know, Winter Championships is next week, so you know, we don't want to release a character and then have to fight her in tournament in 1 week. Well, that means we won't get to see like top level tournament play of her for a good while, which again is a shame, but you know, I'll be playing her a lot. I think she's a lot of fun. Her design really fits the character, her signature design I mean, and oh, I don't know how to end this video, so here's a snippet from my gauntlet guide. That's all you get. Thanks for watching.